Good evening. I know everyone agrees with me that this is a wonderful night thus far. And not only is the decor extremely elegant, this does not even look like a high school cafeteria, does it? It looks like a place where important people have come to share a meal. And indeed it is a place where important people have come to celebrate tonight. We want to recognize, acknowledge, and salute all of our retirees. You have earned it. You are on the second leg of your journey. Not the end of your journey, but the second leg of your journey, because there's a lot left out there for you to do. And I hope all of you know that. I don't want to see anybody parked on their front porch in a rocking chair. If you want to take a break and go to your rocking chair, that's okay. But that should not be a permanent fixture for you, because the world has lots left for you to do. I certainly am thankful that Barbara called me, and she's right, I do love Clayton County. I worked in Clayton County from 1980 to 2008, and I loved every job that I had, and I had a lot of them in this system. But I loved them all, and I loved most of the people that I worked with. But I can say I love all of you in this room right here tonight, okay? I am a Baptist minister, but you don't have to be afraid that I'm going to keep you long. When it comes to speaking, I'm more like a Methodist preacher. They have the sense to get through with what they're doing. Okay, Mr. Gans. This is a wonderful evening, and we're here on this momentous occasion to recognize and honor the retirees of several very deserving people in this room that have worked in schools and around schools for a big portion of their lives. Families, we take the time to celebrate you as well. We thank you for allowing your loved one to give so much of themselves to us and our children over the years. We understand that there were times when you probably wanted to do some family things, but your significant other told you that report cards were due and they had to get grades in, so they couldn't do what you wanted to do. There were times when you wanted to do something, but there was a field trip that they needed to go to. They have made such sacrifices for our children. Not just teachers, not just principals, but bus drivers have to get up early in the morning to get our students here safely so that we can have someone to teach in this place that we call school. The cafeteria staff gets up at the crack of dawn to have breakfast ready for our students when they come in. We also have the maintenance workers and the transportation workers that seem to always be called after hours to come in for emergencies, or sometimes on weekends to come fix a leaky pipe. We thank you for your sacrifices. And people say, well, you get a paycheck. We have never paid you what you're worth, and we absolutely recognize that. So we simply say thank you for the retirees and thank you to their families who have allowed them to work with us. Now, we work with students. You don't have to just work in a school to work with students. Everybody who works for this organization has some impact on students. And so I thought about the students that I worked with. And I started off in high school, and I went to high school teacher, high school assistant principal at 2 different high schools. Then some superintendent saw the wisdom in giving me an elementary school to be the principal of. And I said, I can do that with my eyes closed. I've been in high school. Elementary school is a piece of cake. But I hadn't been with little children since I was a little child, because I didn't have children at that time. And so I went into the Lake Ridge Elementary. We opened it brand new, and I thought I was hot stuff until my teachers told me, you don't know what you're doing. And I said, I don't know what you're talking about. I know leadership. And they said, but you don't know what you're doing over here. And so I said to them, you are absolutely right. But if you will teach me, I will learn. And they taught me how to be an elementary principal. And I am forever grateful for those teachers who told me what I didn't know and then showed me how to be what I needed to be. So I thank them for that. And then I went to a middle school. And middle school is a different animal. How many of you have worked at a middle school? Now we love those kids, so let's get that straight first. But they're strange. Today they want to be 6 years old and put their head on your shoulder and let you pat them on the back. Tomorrow they want to beat somebody's behind because they took their boyfriend. These are the same kids, 2 days apart. And so I said, I got to find a way to outsmart these kids because they outsmart me every day. I've got to find a way. And so I never found a way. But I did read about this man who found a way. So I'm going to share that with you for a few minutes. A wise old gentleman retired and purchased a modest home near a middle school. He spent the first 3 weeks of his life of retirement in peace and contentment. Then the new school year opened. The very next afternoon, 3 young boys, full of youthful after-school enthusiasm, came down the street, beating merrily on every trash can top that they saw. As they walked down the street, they started crashing percussions day after day after day. And while he was in his house trying to relax, he kept hearing this noise, and it was loud. You know how loud trash can tops are, those tin ones, when you hit them? So the next afternoon, he walked out and he met the young percussionists. And he asked them why they were banging on the trash cans. And he said, you all are having a lot of fun, aren't you? And they said, yeah. And he said, well, I'd like to see you all express yourselves at this age, but will you do me a favor? He says, I'll give you each $1 if you promise that you will do this every day. And when I got that far, I thought, there's no need of me reading this because he's just as crazy as they are. But the kids were elated and continued to bang on the trash cans. And after a few days, the retiree came back out and greeted the kids again, but this time he had a smile on his face and he said, you know, the recession is really putting a dent in my money. And from now on, I'm only going to be able to give you 50 cents if you hit on the trash cans. And they said, okay, we understand. We'll do it for 50 cents. So they kept on doing it. A few days later, he came back and he says, look, I haven't received my Social Security check yet, so I don't have any money. And I'm not going to be able to pay you all but 25 cents to hit on the trash cans. And they said, man, are you crazy? We're not going to do that for 25 cents. That's just crazy. You just try this highway robbery. We're not going to do that. And so he said, if you want somebody else to hit your trash cans, then you have to get somebody else because we're done. We're not hitting trash cans anymore. So he found a way to outsmart him. Never let a middle school child know what you want them to do because they're always going to do the opposite. I thought that was funny. I wish I had read that when I was still working. If you've done this job for 30 years, whatever your job was, do you realize that you spent $45,000 600 hours in your work. And for every additional year you worked over 30, that's another 1,520 hours that you spent at work. That's a lot of time that you spent at work. So for years, I know most of you have thought about retirement and what would you do when you retire. I know I did when I was still working, and sometimes I think about it now as I do the work that I do. Some of you have dreamed more in this time when education, not only throughout the state, but throughout the nation, is having cutbacks and fewer raises, if any raises. When you have continued to run your race that you run now, doing the same job that two people used to do, then you think it's time for me to leave. When you do the same job that two people used to do and your pay might be cut, you think, I know it's time for me to go. But then you think about your family, and you think about the family with whom you work, and you think, my race is not over. There's something in me that I can give these kids, and I am not ready to give up on them. Educators, people working into the educational field are not selfish people. You can't do this job and think only about yourself. You always end up thinking about your kids more than you think about yourself. That's the good part of you people and the reason we really don't want to let you go. So give yourselves a hand because you are not selfish. You do what you have to do regardless of what it makes you feel like. You have not wavered, you have stayed the course. If you're like me, on those days, Dr. Healy, you might want to close your ears. On those days when somebody higher than me made a decision that I, in my infinite wisdom, thought was wrong or bad, or just plain too hard, something inside me said, you got 30 years, just walk out. You ain't got to take this stuff, these folks are crazy. When I got mad with my principal, because he just did not understand how hard I was working, because if he understood how hard I was working, he would not be walking towards me with these file folders giving me more work. The man is crazy. I can leave. I'm not taking it anymore. And you almost decide to leave. But you get there early the next day, and a child comes in and says, Miss Hubbard, good morning. I'm glad to see you this morning. Before I know it, I've changed my mind. Because what really matters is not the hard work that I do, but it's who I do the hard work for. We do it for children every day. But how many of you know that you have run a race? You have run a good race. You have run a long race. You have run a race that sometimes has been tiring. You have run a race that sometimes has worn you out. Some of you who are in here right now are so tired you can't wait for this to be over so you can go home and rest up for tomorrow. And that's just not educators, that's anybody. But tonight is the first step towards the rest of your journey. Tonight is about launching yourself into something new. It's not about quitting, but it's about launching yourself into something new. I don't know if you've read a book. It's a children's book called The Fourth Little Pig. And the theme of it is there are worlds to explore if only you're willing to open the door. Don't you like that? There are worlds to explore if only you're willing to open the door. And I will tell you, the fourth little pig was a girl. Me and I don't hear y'all laughing. Ladies and gentlemen, the world is yours. This is your time. There are many doors to open. Sometimes we think we work too much. Sometimes we think we're too tired. Sometimes we think, I just want to rest. Sometimes we are afraid to do something new. You will never know the treasures that await you if you do not take the time to turn that doorknob, pull that door open, and explore. The beauty of retirement is if you open that door and you don't like what's behind door number 1, you don't have to take it. That's the beauty of retirement. You all are joining me in a force that is great because I don't have to take a job if I don't want a job. If it's not something I absolutely love, I don't have to do it because I'm retired. Do you know that that's the door that you're stepping into right now? You don't have to do it if you don't want to do it. If Dr. Hendricks calls you and says, can you do this? You got to say, Dr. Hendricks, for all these years, you kind of told me and I had to do it. But now, I don't want to do it, Dr. Hendricks. I'm retired. I can pick on Dr. Hendricks because I hired Dr. Hendricks in this county. So if he's doing anything wrong, you can't fault me. But if he's doing well, I'm responsible. Isn't it nice to be able to pick on some people? So you never know what treasures are behind you. But the disastrous thing would be for you to sit in that rocking chair that I was talking about. Say, I'm retired and I'm just going to sit in that rocking chair. Because you know what happens if you sit in that rocking chair and don't get up? And this is true sometimes. You sit there all the time and you rock back and forth, back and forth. And it's time to take a bath and you don't move. And it's time to eat and you go eat. But then it's time for you to go to sleep, and nobody wants to sleep with you because you've been in that rocking chair too long and didn't do the things that you're supposed to do. Then the next thing you do is you start combing your hair because nobody's going to come around. You know how you look on the weekends? How you just kind of say, I'm just going to let it go this weekend. Sometimes in retirement, when you're in that rocking chair, you let it go. And so a neighbor comes over and says, I haven't seen you in a while. Is that you? And you, well, yeah, it's me. And then you finally make your way to a mirror and you wonder, who is that looking back at me? Because I didn't look like that the last time I saw him. So you got to get up out of that rocking chair. And you got to do something that your mind is still capable of doing. Because when I look around at you all, we don't have any old people retiring. We have young, vibrant people retiring who still have a lot to offer in every field. And so if you don't use what you have, you will lose it. And I want to tell you this little true story. There was a man who stopped doing everything after retirement, and he just kind of took it easy. That's all he did. Before he retired, he was a golfer. He was an avid reader. He played with his grandchildren. He never missed a game of Jeopardy, and he kept up with world events. His dream after retirement was simply just to sit down and do nothing if he didn't want to do anything. So that's exactly what he did. His family showed concern because they saw him just vegging out. But he was fine with that. He didn't care what they said. His family finally coaxed him out of the house to go to a restaurant for dinner one day. And his best friend and his wife came with them. And the retiree seemed vibrant that night. He was pretty much like his old self. And then the next day, one of his other friends came by, and he was telling him about the restaurant and how nice it was and all. And the man said, well, what's the name of the restaurant? What's it called? And he said, what's that place called? And he just kept trying to think. And then he said, I know. It's a flower that men like to give women at Valentine's Day. And, it's got thorns. And the man said, a rose? And he said, yeah. Hey, Rose, come in here and tell me what the name of that restaurant was last night. So if you don't use it, you lose it. And you even forget your wife's name. so you got to use it. As you prepare to enter this new segment of life's journey, our enjoyment and self-worth depends on our perspective. Do not think retirement is the end, it is the beginning. Do not think that your old friends at work are gone. Think about how many interesting new friends you'll make and the new things you'll do with your old friends. Do not think that you're over the hill. Instead, stand up on top of the mountain. Do not think about what you will do with your time. Just remember, now is your own time. Do not think about that your opinion will not matter anymore. Sit back and see that your thoughts and opinions over the years that you have taught others and created a legacy yourself. In short, just remember, you have run a good race, you have fought a good fight, and now you can cross the finish line whenever and for whatever you wish. Retirees, this is your time. Take time to live, take time to laugh, and take time to dance your dance. It's your time to lead. You deserve it. The world is as good as it is today because you have and will continue to contribute to it. In closing, I don't know how many of you saw the movie The Help. I thought it was a great movie. If you haven't seen it, I recommend it. And it's got some grammatical errors, and I will tell you, I was an English teacher, so I know better than what I'm going to tell you, but I'll tell you anyway. There was a little girl in the movie who was really attached to the maid named Eveline. And the little girl's mother didn't seem to love her very much or appreciate her very much. And so Evie was just real close to the little girl. So Evie taught the little girl that she was worthy, and every time her mother scolded her, she had the little girl repeat, I is smart, I is kind, and I is important. And so, retirees, what I'm saying to you, and I want you to say with me, retirees, repeat after me. I is smart, I is kind, and put your hand on your hip and say, I is important. Thank you so much.
Brings me pleasure to announce the honorees of tonight's banquet. As we announce the names of the retirees, we will be identifying the years of service they have dedicated to Clayton County Public Schools. We also hope that you note that as we do this, many of them have years of service in other systems and in other districts, but we will be recognizing them with respect to their years of service in Clayton County Public Schools. The first group, 4 to 10 years of service. Barbara Brownlee. Diane Fort. Mertice Hauser. Now we've got the directions going correctly. Thank you, Dr. Ely. Aretta Lyons. Hines Pham. Harry Scott. And Elta Shoemaker. These honorees have 4 to 10 years of service in Clayton County Public Schools. The next group has 11 years of service. Davis Christensen, Cynthia Roberts, Colin Van Simmervan. And with 12 years of service, Elizabeth Black. Carolyn Coleman. Mary Green. And Fennell White. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Clayton County retirees with 4 to 12 years of service.
Good evening. I present to you the Clayton County honorees with 13 years of service, starting with Ms. Lula Barnes, Mr. Charlie James, Mr. Leroy Jones, Ms. Deborah Lenny, Ms. Ella Wilson. Those are retirees with 13 years of service. I now present to you our retirees with 14 years of service, starting with Ms. Kate McNeese, Ms. Patricia Reynolds, Ms. Nancy Salter, Ms. Kampa Tamahong. Those are our retirees with 14 years of service. I now present to you our retirees with 15 years of service, starting with Ms. Betty Ford, Ms. Eloise Porterfield, and Mr. Alan Zola. Congratulations to our retirees with 15 years of service.
And now we have 16 years of service. Brenda Atkins. Carol Mercedes. Individuals with 17 years of service. Zareta Shaveri. John Dillo. Nora Trimble. Marlene Torres. Shirley Work. We have one retiree with 18 years of service, Donna Johnson. Congratulations to these retirees.
I present to you our retirees with 19 years of service, Ms. Carol Biffle, Ms. Suzanne Florio, Ms. Sandra Laney, Ms. Gail Lane, Ms. Jenny McCoy. Those are our retirees with 19 years of service. Presenting our retirees with 20 years of service, Ms. Helen Bianchi, Ms. Lois Eccles, Ms. Stephanie Cable, Ms. Mary Morgan, Miss Susie Travis. Dr. Mary Ware, our retirees with 20 years of service. And now, we have one individual retiring with 21 years of service, Ms. Edna Snyder. Congratulations to 20 years of service.
With 22 years of service, Cecilia Ernest. Mr. William Davis Peacock. Susan Phelps. Martha Tolcher. Vance Wallace. Charles Waters. Sally Wentz. Congratulations to these 22-year veterans. With 23 years of service, Patricia Cooper. Carol Stowe. Congratulations to these 23-year retirees. With 24 years of service, Vivica Jackson. Congratulations to these retirees.
And now, with 25 years of service to the district, Ms. Sherry Hudson, Ms. Kathy Olson, and Ms. Sandra Wiggins. Those individuals have 25 years of service. With 27 years of service, Ms. Linda Alexander, Mr. Sofan Chung, Mr. David Smith, those individuals have 27 years of service. And with 29 years of service, Mr. Kelly Pope. Congratulations to 29 years of service.
Retirees with 30 years of service. Darren Ash. Vicki Holcomb. Mayor should go to name? Huh? No? Congratulations to this, Ms. Holcomb for 30 years of service. 31 years of service. We're going to backtrack here for just a second. Let's go back to 29 years of service. That's okay, we can do that. With 29 years of service, Miss Joanne Maples. Congratulations, Ms. Maples. Okay, now we're moving on to 31 years of service. Rosalind Harmon. Juana Soa. Sharon Stone. And Angie Watkins. Congratulations to these 31 years retirees. 32 years, Barbara Barrett. Leon Reeves. Brenda Stanford. Vivica Jackson. Ms. Yippee K, you'll always be the best, Sledge. Hattie Thompson. Gloria Walden. Congratulations to these 32-year retirees.
And with 33 years of service, Miss Susan Messer. With 34 years of service, our wonderful music coordinator of the Jackson Elementary School program, Miss Darlene Guida. Miss Victoria Howard. Miss Ramona Robinson, all with 34 years of service. And we do have an individual with 35 years of service. I don't see him, but that's Mr. Randy Hanson.
We have two more individuals to recognize. With 36 years of service, Miss Elaine Cookie King. And even though this is not a competition, the champion of service tonight with 37 years is Carol Hollingshead. Congratulations to these retirees. And at this time, I'll ask our board chair, Dr. Pam Madison, and Dr. Heatley, okay, excuse me, to come forward to present our closing remarks.
I simply cannot resist a uniform. Can y'all? Absolutely wonderful young people. Well, I got here tonight and said that I was making closing remarks, so I made up something real fast. Y'all understand that? I really got to thinking about that word retire, because I am retired. I am retired a long time ago. I'm not going to tell you how many years ago, but if we were counting, it wouldn't be in the 30s, okay? It'd be more than that. But I got to thinking about the word retire, and the first thing that came to mind is that every once in a while, my husband retires our car, which means he takes my old car and he puts all new tires on it. Now, you know what that means? That means it runs better and it goes faster. Second thing that came to mind with retire was that, you know, they retire collectibles after they make them for a while, you know, like Beanie Babies. That's my generation, I'm sorry. But they retire Beanie Babies. And what happens when they retire them? Well, number one, they become more valuable and more precious, and they don't make any more like them, right? So what does it mean for you educators, and regardless of what you did, you're educators, what does it mean for you to retire? Well, it means that you're getting a new life, a new set of wheels, and you can go faster and surer than you ever have before. And if you think that Jackie Hubbard described the life when she was in that rocking chair, nobody's going to let you sit in a rocking chair. The line you're going to hear is, oh, you're retired, you can help me. I don't know when I ever found time to work. I can't imagine. So, retire, new wheels, go faster, okay? Beanie Baby, when you retire, that means you become more precious and more valuable. And guess what? We will never, ever be able to make another one just like you. Never, ever. So you're going to be special to us for absolutely forever. So I want to say congratulations. I'm so very proud for you tonight because I've been here and I know what it feels like. You're feeling a little shaky, aren't you? Like, am I doing the right thing? But let me tell you, you are. But in the light of Miss Hubbard, don't sit. There's an active organization called the Clayton County Retired Education Association. It meets once a month, except in the summer, because once you're an educator, you never do anything in the summer, right? So it meets once a month, and you must join us. It meets down at Jonesboro, and I think there's something in your little bag tonight from them to tell you to be sure and join our group, because we have a lot of fun. We get together, we have a program that's sometimes meaningful, and sometimes just fun, and sometimes it's just a program, you understand? But we always eat, and that's always a good thing. You'll find when you're retired, that's always a good thing. So be sure and join us. I love each of you. Thank you for what you've done for our school system. Appreciate it.
Okay, real quick, just want to give some acknowledgments. Would the HR family please stand? I just want to say thank you. I love you. Thank you all so much for all that you did to make this a wonderful evening. I want to say thank you to my big boss for entrusting me to just let me have at it, let me have my way. He didn't question me or anything. He just signed the purchase order and everything. So I thank you, Dr. Hendricks. Thank you, Dr. Healy, for entrusting me as well to be able to do this for the retirees. I want to say thank you to Mr. Townsend and his staff and the faculty. They have been awesome. I've been calling them, emailed them. Just everything that I've asked them to help me with, they've been right there. So I appreciate you, Mr. Townsend, for letting us come in your house. To Chef June, did you all enjoy the reception out early? Chef June and the culinary students, I just thank them. They're just awesome, awesome, awesome. Did you all enjoy the string quartet, the ensemble? Thank them. Thank Mount Zion High School Magnet Ensemble. I thank Ingrid and all of the wonderful nutrition service staff. They are awesome, awesome. Thank you, Audrey. Thank you, all of you all. I really, really appreciate you. Did you all like the programs and all the trinkets? That's compliments of Judy Hams and our print services. Don't we have great work in Clayton County? So I thank them. Our warehouse staff, Terry Kinsey, they came and they put all the tables down for me and they worked. Really, really worked. They put the stage, so I appreciate them. Mr. Walker and the transportation. At the last minute, he got a bus for me to get the orchestra over here, so I appreciate him. Major Bowles. I can't say anything other than thank you for the cadets. They were absolutely top notch. They worked hard. Did they not show out tonight? They really did, so I thank them. Also, Mr. Davis and the soloists, I thank him. They're from Mount Zion High School. And Life Touch Photography for providing complimentary photos for, here's one of our photographers now, for our retirees, and I thank them. Also, Aflac, Little Caesars Pizza, they were able to donate some pizzas for us for the kids, so I just appreciate them. And just thank all of you all. I hope that you all have enjoyed it, and it is our pleasure to do this for our retirees because we love you.
Good evening. Just sit back and relax. 25, 30 minutes, all it's going to take. No, I just want to say, on behalf of the Board of Education, 51,257 young people that you all have had a hand in raising to be outstanding citizens in this great state, this great nation of ours. we just want to say thank you. We want to thank you for your time, your energy, your passion, your love, and your chastising when needed. So as you leave here tonight, just know that what you've done, we can never say thank you enough. For what you've done, we will continue to look over our shoulder to make sure you're still watching. And for what you've done, we are eternally grateful. Thank you and have a good evening.